Hello everyone and welcome to the first match we are going to cover from the semifinals of the Julius Baer Generation Cup. It is Vincent Keymer, the newest member of the 2700 club, against world champion Magnus Carlsen, so basically facing the ultimate challenge already in the semifinals. And well, it was an incredible match. We are going to cover the fourth game, but the entire match was truly spectacular. In game one, where Magnus had the white pieces, Vincent played such an incredible game. It was like watching a World Chess Championship match. Such a spectacular game to see. Game 2 also very nicely played by both of them, ended in a draw, and then in game 3 Magnus was able to grind out a win with the white pieces in a very, very tough endgame. He missed the win somewhere in the middle of the endgame. Vincent found a brilliant defense, but then later on he was able to outplay him. He was up a pawn and he was able to cherish it, all the way. And this is now game 4. Vincent has the white pieces and he must win in order to force tie breaks against Magnus. So let's check it out. It's quite a peculiar game. Let's dive straight into it. So Vincent has the white pieces and he opens with c4. He goes for the English opening. Knight to f6, we have knight to f3, and now pawn to c5 by Magnus. We have knight to c3, e6, we have e3 and d5. D5 striking in the center, d4 by Vincent, now transposing into the semi-Tarrasch of the Queen's Gambit, and a6 by Magnus. So there's a whole lot of theory on this. Of course, both of them know this very, very well. So captures, and here most popular is bishop to e2, but Vincent goes for g3, saying that he will fianchetto his light square bishop instead, and Magnus pushes c4. So kind of abandons the fight for the center, but he has a very clear idea of what he's doing, of course. Bishop to g2, bishop to b4 by Magnus, and now there are a few games that reach this position, but really just a few. For example, knight to e5 is a known move, castles is a known move. There is a game between Fabiano Caruana and Jordan Van Foreest where bishop to d2 was played. That game ended in a draw, but here Vincent throws in a nice queen to a4 check, and it is now as of move 9 that we have a completely new game. So the king is in check, of course the bishop is hanging. Only move if you don't want to lose the game is knight to c6, prevents check and also defends the bishop. Knight to e5 now putting pressure on the knight on c6, and the Magnus just castles, signaling that he is ready to give up the c6 pawn, although it cannot be captured right away. As you'll see, knight captures on c6 is played, bishop captures on c3, winning the e4 square. B captures, and now B captures on c6, and grabbing the pawn now would be too dangerous, because after queen captures on c6, yes, you are attacking the rook, but look at this, queen a5, and now it's a pretty bad position for white. The c3 pawn is hanging. If you grab the rook, queen captures on c3 comes with check, then this rook falls, and it's just not fun. So if you castle bishop f5, and now the rook is protected by the other rook, the rooks are nicely connected, you're going to develop the rooks. The bishop covers b1, so rook b1 is impossible. Queen puts pressure on c3 on a2, so it's quite a tough position to play for white. So instead, after b captures on c6, Vincent castles to safety. He says, all right, I will not grab the c6 pawn. Bishop to f5 by Magnus, grabbing hold of this beautiful diagonal, and now bishop to a3, putting pressure on the rook here, also connecting the rooks. So rook to e8, and now Vincent boldly claims the c6 pawn. Queen captures on c6. And now what can Magnus do to take advantage of this pawn grab? Well, he starts with rook to e6, attacks the queen, and asks Vincent, what do you want to do? Now, you could go to b7, but it looks like a weird square for the queen, so Vincent goes back, queen to a4. Although you can play it, for example, if queen b7, you can't really go something like rook b6, because then queen e7 forces a queen trade, or rather offers a queen trade, and white is perfectly fine. But, of course, rook b6 is not mandatory. You can play rook to b8, give up the a6 pawn as well, and then you can't give it up even, because the rook defends it, so it would be you have to put your queen on a7. So, okay, it can be played, but not spectacular. So, okay, Vincent goes back, queen to a4, and now Magnus plays h5. And here with this h5 move, which is the strongest move recommended by the engine, Magnus says that you do have the bishop pair, although your bishop pair isn't really doing all that much. This bishop pair hitting d5, which is nicely protected. It's not like it's gonna become any sort of a serious target. And the bishop here striking empty squares, it's a fine square for for the bishop is just not doing all that much. And the action will be on the king side. So here h3 by Vincent, trying to meet h4 with g4, and now bishop to d3. Beautiful square for Carlsen's bishop, attacking the rook on f1, rook f to c1, sorry, that's not a c1, rook f to c1, and now knight to e4. And here you can see just how powerful the bishop on d3 is. It's controlling a whole lot of squares here and basically preventing Vincent from taking advantage of the only open file on the board, that is the b file. And here bishop captures on e4 is the move you have to play because the knight is such a monster piece. But you kind of know, because you already played a lot of chess games, if you do this, you're not winning this game. So Vincent will try something else. He plays queen d1. We have queen to g5 by putting the knight on e4. Of course, Magnus also cleared the room for the queen to enter the king side. And now queen to e1. There are some tricks here. Maybe knight captures on f2, and then, of course, queen captures on e3. So it does make sense to guard the e3 pawn. Rook 8 to e8, and now king to h2. And here, Magnus plays a rook to g6. You could strike with h4 right away, but Magnus has a different plan. He plays rook to g6, and here we have rook 8 to b1. Vincent is without a move, and like I said, he doesn't want to play bishop captures on e4. It is a move, but you really don't expect to get a win here, and Vincent absolutely must win this game in order to force tiebreak. So he plays rook 8 to b1. He offers the exchange, and now Vincent's position is completely lost. So feel free to pause the video here and try to find the absolute crushing maneuver for Magnus while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on spotting this brilliancy, because even Magnus missed it. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is knight captures on g3. And now you are thinking, well, how did Magnus miss this if that's the first thing that I thought of? Well, that will be explained in the second move. Here, f captures on g3 would be played, and now you were thinking rook captures on e3, attacks the queen, adds another attacker to the g3 pawn, but here Vincent has the saving h4, and that's the problem. Now, Magnus really doesn't have a way of continuing the attack. You could trade, of course, on g3, but then you just trade down, you're not winning this, and if you try to keep queens on the board, then queen f2, and already you have some problems here. If rook captures on g3, there's a rook b8 check, and after king h7, there's queen captures on f7, preparing queen to g8, and now Magnus wouldn't really have anything other than to force a draw with rook captures on g2. King captures, rook e2 check, king g3, and queen to e3 check. Looks very nice, but there, of course, is queen f3, and now there is no way to force anything here. The thing that Magnus missed, and I imagine most of you guys watching this, I'm not saying all of you, but you know, I'm imagining most of you, is that after f captures on e3, there's h4, and now white resigns. There's no way to play this. Whatever you play, you're just getting destroyed. If you push g4, which is the only move that seems like a good idea, then rook captures on e3, just, you know, blasts through the position. The queen is attacked, and once you move the queen, there's a rook e2 now attacking the queen, and once the queen moves, let's say bishop e4, and here white resigns. That's it. There's no way out of this. But Magnus had some 10 minutes on the clock, whereas Vincent had like 1 minute on the clock, so Magnus did not want to invest too much time. He didn't want to allow Vincent to think on his time. He played bishop captures, rook captures, and now just played queen back to d8. Now, he of course is convinced that the position is winning as he is up material, and he doesn't want to risk too much. So here, again, bishop captures on e4 is always a move, but of course Vincent will not play this. He plays bishop to b4, tries to close the position and also guard the c3 pawn, but now rook to b6. Magnus will shift the attention to the b file, play a5, and then try and break through the b file. We have rook to c1. Of course, Vincent spots this, a queen to b8, and now pawn to h4, so you don't have to worry about h4 anymore. The queen was also serving as a preparation move for that. So here we have a5 by Magnus, now trying to give up a bishop, but if you give up this bishop with bishop captures on a5, then rook comes to b2, and then there's no defending the f2 square. So bishop to a3, guarding the b2 square, and now rook e to e6, preparing rook to g6 to add more pressure to to white's king side, then the rook will be attacking g3, the knight, the queen. I mean, it's just very, very hard to deal with. Rook to d1, clearing the c1 square for the bishop, and now queen to e8 by Magnus, with bishop to c1, adding more defense to the e3 pawn, and now rook to b1. So just winning a whole lot of space here. f3, again, bishop captures on e4 is a move, but of course, you are not expecting to win after that. So f3, knight goes back to d6, and now bishop to d2 offers a trade of rooks, but Magnus, of course, keeps the rooks and takes the second rank for himself. So rook b1, we have rook captures on a2. Vincent has to give up even more material to keep some chances alive. Queen to c1, and now we have knight to f5, putting pressure on the e3 pawn, and now it's now or never. You have to push e4. So pawn to e4, d captures, we have f captures on e4, and now Magnus says, I'm not allowing you to keep this strong center. Just rook captures on e4. And what can Vincent do? Again, bishop captures here. I mean, if you give up this bishop, Vincent did not want to give up this bishop for a pawn, but he doesn't want to give it up for a rook either. So bishop to f4, sorry, for a knight. Bishop to f4, and now just rook e to e2, attacking the bishop, and now there, of course, is no saving this position. He tries rook b8 as the bishop on f4 guards the b8 square, so he does win Magnus's queen, but it is far too late for such things. Rook captures on g2 by Magnus. You could also start with queen captures on b8, which would be a whole lot cooler if Magnus did it this way, but okay, rook captures on g2, it's basically the same line, king h2, and now queen captures on b8. There's really nothing to do. You have to capture the queen, and after bishop captures, now just rook h2 check, king g1, rook 2 to g2 check, king to f1, only move, and now rook to h1. And he was in this position on move 41 that Vincent Keymer resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. Once the rook is captured, which is your only move, then comes rook captures on c1, and now you're just down a full rook, of course. There's no point in playing this. So yeah, really spectacular showing by both of them. Like I said, first game, if you have a chance, do check it out. Such a brilliant performance by Vincent with the black pieces against Magnus, playing such a spectacular line. He played the same line he played against Jan Nepomniachtchi in that famous Game 6 of the World Chess Championship match that Nepo lost, and Vincent was able to just neutralize it. And it's a really a spectacular game. So do check it out if you guys have the time. But yeah. Game 3 was won by Magnus, a serious grind, and then Game 4, Vincent just had to push a bit too hard, and of course Magnus knew that Vincent would try this, so he took advantage of it very early on and didn't let go of the advantage for the rest of the game. Like even here, of course, Magnus knew that, moves like these, of course, you're a chess player, you think about those moves, but he has 10 minutes on the clock, Vincent has 1, and he knows bishop captures on b1 is... well, he will be able to push for the win, so he didn't want to invest too much time. But yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Another big congratulations to all of you who spotted knight captures on g3 followed by h4. Not an easy move to find in limited time. So congratulations on that once again. I would like to thank Stuart Matthews, Derek King, Brian Parkin, Golden Pawn, and Mebdi Shakui for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of the Julius Baer Generation Cup until it finishes. Next game and match that we are covering is, of course, Liam Le versus Arjun Erigaisi, so stay tuned for that. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.